seconds we will start, sir. आया नहीं? चेक कर देना प्लीज, फिर शुरू हो जाएगा फिर जो अच्छे से। कहाँ आ रहा बेटा? दिक्कत नहीं आ रहा तुम्हारे से। इधर इधर क्या आ रहा है? जस्ट फ्यू सेकंड सर। Okay, sir. So, good morning to all who are in the meeting and who have joined us all on our Facebook page live. So, we are on live now on our Facebook page. So, myself, Dr. Naveen Gupta, I welcome Professor Rooplal, Professor Prince Sharma, Professor Kusam Rajai, Dr. Soni in our this Saturday lecture series. I will brief in a minute that we have at AMI Chandigarh unit, we have started 2 lecture series. One Saturday lecture series where the eminent personalities we will call and request them to give a lecture. The idea is to share their views in this difficult time online, their research views, their ideas. Another series we will be starting tomorrow, Sunday lecture series. That will be opportunity we will be given to the young faculty, students, research scholars, so that they also learn how to give online lectures and how to they can also share their views. So today we are starting our first lecture and we are very happy that we are having Professor Rooplal ji with us. Now I call Professor Prince Sharma to formally welcome all the guests. Professor Prince Sharma.
Okay, Naveen, thank you very much. It's our honor that AMI Chandigarh unit of AMI is having Professor Rooplal today with us. He is the first speaker in our this Saturday's lecture series, and we are very happy that such an eminent personality has joined us and has inaugurated rather this series with us. He has been an eminent scientist, and I welcome him wholeheartedly. The Chandigarh unit of AMI and the Department of Microbiology, all of us, we are welcoming you, sir, in this, and we are very, very thankful that you have kindly consented to be the first person to give this talk in this Saturday's lecture series. I welcome all my colleagues here, and I welcome all the students, the research scholars, the young faculty here who have joined us and who will be from now onwards every Saturday. They will be part of this lecture series. The Chandigarh unit of AMI has always been making efforts for the upliftment of the science, particularly the microbiological sciences. Previously, also we have a few days back we have done a webinar on the artificial intelligence, the role of artificial intelligence in microbiological sciences. And similarly, we have been taking up many issues and many lectures, workshops, public lectures by eminent personalities on certain pertinent areas like antimicrobial resistance, for example, or artificial resistance, for example. So this lecture series also will take you to various aspects of science, academics, particularly microbiological sciences. So once again, welcoming you to this series, which is going to be our effort for making you aware of the pertinent topics these days and for uplifting the microbiological sciences. So thank you, Dr. Rooplal, once again for joining us. Dr. Naveen?
Thank you, Prince sir. So, so we are very happy, Rooplal sir, to have you with us. in our this program of AMI CU and Department of Microbiology. And I'm happy to tell all of you, lots of people have joined us live on in this lecture already. They are with us. Now, in our today's program, our chief guest is Mr. Devender Delai, IFS. He's not able to join us. He has to go to some another urgent meeting. Mr. Devender Delai is a chief conservator forest of UT. He is director environment UT. He is director DST UT. He is also vice chairman Chandigarh Pollution Control Board. And he is doing lots of other responsible jobs in this COVID time also. And he has been a very special person to us because he has been always very considerate about the research which we are doing at Punjab University. So he has sent a message to us. I will request Professor Soni to read Mr. Dalai's IFS address to us. Professor Soni, please.
Thank you, Dr. Naveen Gupta. So I have a message which we have received from our chief guest. He says, my sincere apology to the organizers for not being able to make it to the webinar being organized by Association of Microbiologists Chandigarh Unit and Department of Microbiology, Punjab University of Chandigarh. I convey my best wishes to the organizers and all the eminent speakers to speak on various emergent issues during the crisis period. Though the entire world is passing through a testing time, but I am sure that with the contribution of all the medical experts, health workers, researchers, and scientists, we will come out victorious, and this pandemic situation will be controlled. Even though there are many negative sides of this crisis situation, but only one thing to cherish about is rebooting of the nature. Many positive developments in the environment have been noticed, including unusual sighting of new wildlife species in their old habitat during this period, which signifies that there is a strong message being conveyed by Mother Nature to respect peaceful coexistence along with other creatures. Back to basics and nurture the nature are now the two mantras which need to be followed by one and all. So I once again congratulate the organizers for having organized the webinar, which I feel will be beneficial to all the participants. Thank you very much. So this was the message as received from our chief guest.
Thank you, Professor Soni. We are thankful to Mr. Devender Dalai for sending us his kind message. I now call Professor Prince Sharma to introduce today's speaker and call Professor Ruplal to deliver his lecture, please.
Thank you, Naveen. It's really my pleasure to tell you something about Professor Ruplal, who is the honorable speaker of today's lecture series. Let me tell you about him a little bit. Professor Ruplal is the NACI Senior Scientist Platinum Jubilee Fellow at the Energy and Research Institute Complex in New Delhi. He is the Fellow of Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi, and he is the Fellow of National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, Fellow of the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, and Fellow of the Academy of Microbiological Sciences. He started his career as a lecturer in Shri Venkateshwara College, University of Delhi, and served for nearly 13 years and became Professor of Molecular Biology at the Department of Zoology, University of Delhi, where he superannuated on September 30, 2018. He has over 40 years of long-standing experience in teaching, administration, and research. He has supervised nearly 70 PhD theses and mentored more than 120 MSc and MTech and undergraduate students. Professor Ruplal specializes himself in the area of microbial biodiversity, genomics, and metagenomics. Professor Ruplal was editor-in-chief of Indian Journal of Microbiology from 2006 to 2013 and also is serving as a member of the editorial board of various leading scientific journals like M Systems, Environmental Microbiology, Environmental Microbiology Reports, BMC Biotechnology, BMC Biochemistry, and so on. He has over 200 publications in peer-reviewed journals and his H-index is staggeringly 42. He has delivered more than 300 lectures in the area of biotechnology, microbiology, genomics, metagenomics at various national and international fora. Professor Ruplal was chairman of Board of Research Studies. He was head of the Department of Zoology. He was dean of the Faculty of Science in Delhi University, and he was dean of the examinations also. Member of the Executive Council and Academic Council, and member of the several national and international bodies. He is a member of various committees of DBT, DST, MOE, FCC. Professor Ruplal is the recipient of several prestigious fellowships, including the Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship, DBT Overseas Fellowship, and Indo-US ASM Professorship in Microbiology. He was a visiting scientist at the University of Cambridge, University of Kaiserslautern in Germany, Oregon State University, EPFL in Switzerland, University of Lausanne in Switzerland, EAWAG in Zurich, CSIRO in Australia, and Helmholtz Center for Environmental Research in Germany. He is the recipient of Endeavor Executive Fellowship, Mazzillo Schechter Distinguished Service Award for American Society of Microbiology. Professor SR Memorial SR Vyas Memorial Award, Professor B.N. Jory Award on Microbial Diversity by the Association of Microbiologists of India. He was the ambassador, American Society for Microbiology for the Indian Ocean region from 2012 to 15, and the president of Association of Microbiologists of India in 2013. He was also a member of several national and international committees, a member of the review committee for the ASM IU SSTF Indo-US Professorship in Microbiology. He was General Secretary and is presently the president of Indian Network for Soil Contamination Research. Also presently, he is the ambassador of ISME, International Society for Microbial Ecology, in Netherlands, to the Indian Ocean region. You can see very well that how star-studded his biosketch is. But for us, all of us, particularly for me, above all this, he is a great human being. He is our mentor. He is the one who जिनकी उंगली पकड़कर हमने AMI ECU चंडीगढ़ यूनिट स्टार्ट किया, और जहां तक भी हम AMI यूनिट को लेके गए यहाँ पर, जिसने कि पिछले कई सालों में बेस्ट यूनिट का अवार्ड भी जीता है, इट्स ऑल बिकॉज ऑफ हिज मेंटरशिप एंड बिकॉज ऑफ हिज ब्लेसिंग्स. ये इन्हीं की वजह से है जो हमने आज इतना कुछ सीखा है. एंड आई एम रियली ऑनर्ड the Chandigarh unit of AMI and the Department of Microbiology, Punjab University, we all are really honored to have him today with us. So I welcome Professor Ruplal and invite him now for his talk, please.
Shall I share my slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So that's...
The other in the meeting can switch off their audios. I think we can.
सर ऊपर आपके जहां पर वीडियो ऑडियो आ रहा है वहां पर एक शेयर स्क्रीन का भी आ रहा है रेड बटन के साथ.
मेरे उसमें
हाँ जी, ऊपर देखिए एक रेड बटन है, उसके साथ शेयर स्क्रीन आ रहा है.
It is second from right.
Right, I'm not really able to.
सर आपके ऊपर बिल्कुल
Okay, so
एक रेड बटन है.
So actually, when I'm going for share screen, it is writing actually to, okay, if I click on this, it is writing to give some, install it or enter the password.
नहीं सर, अभी सुबह प्रैक्टिस किया.
Right, so that day, I don't know, morning it was happening. Now there is some problem or what? I will join, just I will put it off and then join again.
No problem, sir.
Yes, sir. In the morning it worked perfectly fine.
Then I'll just join again. Let me see.
सुबह को पास
आ रही है कई बार नहीं आती होती आदत पड़ी हुई है कि ना कि बस बोलता है ना कि आवाज नहीं आ रही तो ऐसे बोलना पड़ता है, तो वो आदत से कर लेता है, बट आ रही है ना वॉइस तो आराम से बात करते हैं। नहीं हम तो मिल ही नहीं सकते, तो घर पे हैं तो घर पे नॉर्मल बात कर रही है, और अगर बाहर जा रहे हैं तो बाहर
लेकिन नीचे से पानी की बोतल भी दे दो।
हाँ नहीं तो हाँ तो हाँ
Actually, we tried it in the morning.
So you said there is a button for share screen right here.
Yes, sir. यही करना.
But when I'm, Naveen, when I'm clicking on it, it's asking, click here. Okay, that I done it.
It is doing, sir. It is coming now.
Yeah.
But then I'm not able to see the
Download again. Download again.
Sir, download again कर नहीं. Sir, PPT खोलो आप सीधे. You just open your PPT, sir. We can see your screen.
Okay.
Sir,
Just wait. I think it will work. Wait a minute.
नहीं करना था ना. Sir, you just start your PPT. We can see your screen. Forget about this blue jeans now.
But then I'm not able to. I should be able to see actually that the. Wait a minute.
We can.
Wait a minute.
क्या हो गया यार? करूं फोन करूं?
हेलो हाँ नवीन आपको दिख नहीं लेकिन मुझे नहीं दिख रहा है ना दैट वाज द प्रॉब्लम हेलो हाँ बेटे मैं अपना स्क्रीन नहीं देख पा रहा हूँ शेयर नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ नहीं तो मुझे नहीं दैट इज आई एम नॉट ओके योर मीटिंग इज लाइव इन द ब्लू जीन ऐप तो व्हाट डू आई डू मेरी प्रेजेंटेशन खुल गई
आ गया सर.
आर यू एबल टू सी नाउ
Sir, now we can see. आ गई है.
Okay. Okay, now it's fine.
Yes, sir.
So are you able to see it? Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, better keep on guiding me. Actually, if I get stuck up. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prince Sharma, for the nice introduction. Before I begin, would like to thank Professor Kusum, Professor Prince, Soni, Naveen for organizing this webinar under the aegis of AMI Chandigarh unit. I know I'll come to this point later, but today I'm speaking on a very important topic, epidemiology, detection, treatment, comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2, and managing personal and professional life during COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown. As I mentioned, Prince साहब ने थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही बोल दिया मेरे बारे में. It is not really so. AMI unit and all my colleagues at the Department of Microbiology in Punjab University are really doing wonderful job, and they have been propagating microbiology through this particular unit for the past so many years. And this unit always it has been actually first among all the units in the country and winning the first award most of the time. So thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to be here to speak on this particular important topic. I'll not get into the details. You all know it, that this SARS-CoV-2, it was first detected on December 1st in China, in Wuhan, and then actually moved to India on January 30th. And then there was a spread of this virus almost in each and every country, followed by lockdown in March 1st, 2nd, 3rd, then unlock 1 and unlock 2. And as of today, we have actually what over more than 1,41 lakhs COVID positive patients or individuals, and deaths are more than 6 lakhs. In India, the number has already crossed 10 lakhs, and more than 26,000 deaths have been reported. So this all is known to you. And also most of the things in first few slides that I will be showing are really known to you, but just to give an introduction to those who are not familiar with this. This is a very novel virus. We call it as coronavirus. And this virus contains its genome, which we call it as single stranded RNA. And the size of this single stranded RNA or its genome is something around 27 to 30 kb. It has got crown-like appearance because of the presence of spikes projecting out of it. That's why you call it as a coronavirus. Now, the transmission, as has been earlier mentioned, is through respiratory droplets. But now, a few days or last week, there was another report that some 240 scientists or 239 scientists, they wrote to WHO that it is also airborne. And in fact, it was confirmed that it is airborne, and WHO declared it airborne. The incubation time is something around 2 to 14 days. And the symptoms, you all know, the newer symptoms that have been added, that the patients or individuals suffering from this disease, COVID-19, they also actually lose smell and taste. Now, there is no cure for it. Be very clear about it. There is no antibiotic. There is no drug. There are many things that are floated, and you keep on reading. But as such, so far there is no vaccine. There is no tested drug that can cure this disease. The only prevention is social distancing, respiratory hygiene, hand hygiene, community surveillance, and so on and so forth. So I mentioned this debate is over, that it's not only transmitted through aerosols from human to human, but it is also airborne. And it is also, you also know it, that people above the age of 60 or above the age of 65, senior citizens and those suffering from a number of diseases are more prone to infection. So that's known to you. But you keep on, and I also keep on getting large number of messages on WhatsApp. The purpose of showing this slide is that you don't have to believe those messages which keeps on circulating, and you don't need to get carried away. People keep on saying that temperature above 25 degrees centigrade probably will kill this virus. No, that has not happened. Many people they said that probably drinking alcohol or it will also kill the virus. And when the alcohol shops were opened up, you have already seen long queues, and people started buying actually so much of alcohol, thinking that probably that will also cure. So it's also not true. Then just hold your breath for 10 seconds. You are fit. No, that is not true. Then eating this lasan or amla or whatever. There are many things. So I wanted to just sincerely tell you that don't believe these messages and don't get carried away by all these things that get circulated through WhatsApp or Facebook almost on daily basis. Now, SARS-CoV-2, before I come to actually its novelty, would begin by what is it actually? You know, it has been now extensively worked on. Almost on daily basis, there are a large number of papers that are being published on SARS-CoV-2 and also on this particular disease, which we call it as COVID-19. Its size is already has been estimated, which is around, it's a very small, 70 to 90 nanometer. Now, be very clear that SARS-CoV-2 has been classified by the International Committee on Taxonomy of Viruses. This particular coronavirus has been named as SARS-CoV-2. And COVID-19 is a disease. So don't confuse COVID-19 with SARS-CoV-2. The virus is known as SARS-CoV-2 and the disease is known as COVID-19. And this particular virus, it belongs to a family. You are all microbiologists. We call it as coronaviridae. There are 4 types of viruses that have been reported in this particular family: alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Alpha and beta, they infect mammals, and gamma and delta infect birds and fishes. Now you all know it again, being microbiologists, but those who are not really microbiologists, for them, this SARS-CoV-2, it consists of, that is the outer spike protein, membrane glycoprotein, envelope protein, nucleocapsid protein, and single stranded RNA, the genome size of which I have already mentioned is something around 27 to 30 kb. And the mechanism of infection already known to almost now to those even who are not microbiologists, that this particular SARS-CoV-2, it infects the epithelial cell, enters into the cells through ACE2 receptors, and there, by using the host ribosomal machinery, it eventually forms a replication transcription complex. And this complex is very important for replication as well as for encoding large number of proteins that are needed in order to make a complete viral particle. And in association with endoplasmic reticulum and also Golgi apparatus, new particles are being formed, and exocytosis leads to the formation of a new crop of SARS-CoV-2, and that infects epithelial cells. Its map has also been prepared and known to everybody, that this particular virus, which is around 30 kb, it consists of 4 structural proteins I mentioned already: spike, envelope, membrane, nucleocapsid, and also it consists of 16 non-structural proteins which are very important, and they are responsible for making this particular virus very novel. And also there are 4 hypothetical proteins. Now this SARS-CoV-2 outbreak, how this virus is wreaking havoc across the globe. ये क्या हो गया, इतना भयानक कैसे बन गया ये virus? So lot more scientists, institutions, universities, and almost everybody is working on various aspects. As I mentioned already, there are a lot more reports in media, newspapers, and also many scientific papers are being published on daily basis. And there are many aspects of this particular virus that makes it unique. But one of the approach we wanted to look into was, can we look into the genomes of this particular viruses? Because that's very important actually. And the studies on the comparative genomics of COVID-2, SARS-CoV-2, probably reflect what is happening to its genome when it is moving from Wuhan to different countries around the globe. So we started working on comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2 in the second week of March. And by March 19, this particular analysis was ready, and after that the lockdown was declared, and then we submitted a paper on comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2 that revealed a mosaic pattern of distribution among different geographical locations. Now this particular paper was submitted to M-System, and after some 3 weeks of evaluation, because it's a good journal, so it was outrightly, it was not rejected, but by the time it was reviewed, a lot of information came in, and the reviewers and editors, they said, you resubmit it, add more information to it in case you want us to look into it or to accept it. So we resubmitted it, and only day before yesterday on 14th July, this paper got accepted and now being published in M-System. But it's that is, the manuscript is already archived and it is available in case you want to read it. Now there were number of my colleagues, very brilliant students who are already, they did PhD with me, but subsequently they joined different colleges and institutions. So we all came together and started working on this particular aspect. Now, what he did actually, let me tell you briefly. We actually, that time, only 95 genomes of SARS-CoV-2 were available on the database, and we selected 95. 52 were from USA, 30 were from China, 2 from Japan, 2 from India, 2 from Taiwan, and 1 each from Brazil, Italy, Nepal, South Korea, and Sweden. Having collected all sequences from the database, we immediately went for genome annotations. We did the annotations. After that, we wanted to look into all these genomes. What are the changes that are happening by using actually non-synonymous versus synonymous substitutions to look into it, whether the changes are occurring when this particular strain is moving from one country to another. We also did phylogenetic analysis, then looked into both pathogenic interactions and also looked into single nucleotide polymorphism. And as I mentioned, the first thing we did was just annotated the genome. And the annotations, they revealed that this particular genome, it consists of, as I mentioned earlier, structural proteins, that is SEM and N, and 16 non-structural proteins, which are very important, as I mentioned earlier, for this particular virus, because they are responsible for replication and providing immunity for immunity modulations, and also for hypothetical proteins. But let me tell you before I get into the next slide, that when you look very closely at all these 95 viral strains, we found out that RNA replication and processing genes are evolving at a very fast rate, especially in the strains that are moving around in USA. Now, keep in mind now, this is a very important conclusion that we had drawn, that this rapid evolution and mutations are making these strains more virulent and perhaps making it difficult for scientists and institutions to develop any kind of drug or vaccine. Now, this slide shows the phylogenetic analysis that we carried out of 95 strains that were isolated from different geographical, they were present in different geographical locations. And the conclusion, the first conclusion was, we confirmed that the nearest neighbor of this particular virus, SARS-CoV-2, is from bat. We do not know whether this particular strain after mutation, SARS-CoV-2, directly came into human being or it got into some intermediate host. But the only conclusion that we also drew, and it was already known by then, that the nearest relative of this particular strain is a virus that is already present in the bat. But apart from that, we found out that there's a mosaic distribution, that the strains within the same country, within the same community, within the same state are not similar. Even within the same community, a couple of strains which we analyzed, or the sequences which we looked into, we found out that they are phylogenetic distant. Only a couple of strains that moved from, and we know today that in India, the strains that are moving around, one is from US and the other one is from China. This slide shows actually the mutations that are happening, and they got stabilized actually in the structural, that is in the non-structural region, or especially in the replication region of this SARS-CoV-2. Especially in US strains, you can see actually amino acid changes that has happened in number of these strains that we analyzed, and especially from USA. Not only this, we also detected frame shift mutations that completely change the frame of this particular virus. So it is only the analysis that we carried out on 95 genomes of viruses, primarily from USA and China, and our study reflected that this particular strain, especially the structural genes, they are evolving at a very fast rate. And these structural proteins, in fact, are evolving. They are also responsible for providing more virulence to these strains. So these mutations are making these strains more virulent. We looked into the host pathogen interaction by using in silico method. We will not get into the details, but what we found out that the pathogen proteins and the host protein, in fact, they interact in such a manner so that the pathogen becomes more effective to the host cell death, and also responsible for host immunity evasion and methylation is the major mechanism this particular strain in order to have defense mechanism. So in conclusion, that there's a mosaic distribution of this particular virus is very difficult to make out which viral strain has moved to which country and where exactly these mutations are happening. But most of the mutations that got stabilized in these strains, they were in the non-structural region, and these mutations were responsible. That's what we concluded, making these viruses more virulent. So when you submitted this paper, they actually they immediately after 3 weeks time when it was reviewed, the reviewers they said we has got to be submitted because a lot of information has come in, and also you cannot say that these strains are more virulent because you are not provided any wet lab data. We looked into the literature and people had by then already studied, did wet lab experiment and found out that the mutations which we have reported actually, which we are talking about, they are already making this strains virulent. So with the support of that data, we resubmit this paper, and then actually finally editors and the reviewers, they agreed that now this is, it is worth publishing this paper. So it got accepted in M system on July 14th. Probably Prince and Naveen and Sony and Madam Kusum, they know it. जब आपका resubmission पर आ जाता है तो कितना दुख होता है after having worked for so many and weeks and so many others. Finally, it got accepted on July 4th, and this will be available online soon. So this is the paper for which we talked about comparative genomic analysis of rapidly evolved SARS-CoV-2 virus, revealing mosaic pattern of physiological distribution got accepted in M system. And as I mentioned earlier, the major conclusion that we had drawn or our study reflected that this virus is evolving at a very fast rate, and that is one of the reasons that making this particular virus very unique, and this is perhaps also the reason that makes it difficult to develop a specific type of immediately. Can you put off the mic? Somebody is speaking. So before moving further, what I mentioned that this fast evolving SARS-CoV-2 is one of the issue, one of the reasons that makes it very unique. But apart from that, there are many concerns. There are many concerns in almost in everybody's mind that also I would like to touch upon. One of the problems that we are facing, which is very unique to this particular SARS-CoV-2, is the presence of 3 types of corona patients. We call them as symptomatic transmission, pre-symptomatic transmission, and asymptomatic transmissions. Now, you all know it. Symptomatic means the symptoms are already there in the patient. Pre-symptomatic means it takes some time. The patient will show some symptoms after a couple of days. And asymptomatic means already infected, COVID positive, but they are not showing any symptom of any disease. Now, these asymptomatic transmission, which you call it as silent spreader, it's a big chunk of COVID-19 patient. Around 40 to 50% of the patient of the individuals who looks normal are already COVID positive, and in fact they are creating it. They are spreading this particular disease among those where symptoms can also appear. So that's a very serious situation. And you see from this particular slide, the asymptomatic patients are carriers, and if they come in contact with unaffected person, the risk is very high. But if unaffected person is wearing a mask, then risk is less, then much less if the carrier is wearing a mask. If both of them, then it is very low. And if somebody, the stature is very small, height is very small, the person by itself is protected. But both of them, if they are staying at home, then virtually there are no chances of any infection. So this is one aspect which probably all of you know it, making this particular virus very unique. The second thing also I would like to touch upon the testing methods. Everybody, I mean that these are the guidelines that everybody need not to be tested. But what are the techniques that are being used? Now, the one technique, you all being microbiologists, you know it that RT-PCR is the major technique that is being used as of today in order to detect the presence of this virus in the individuals, and we call those. Now, all COVID positives does not mean that they are suffering. They might not show the symptoms. But then there are certain limitations of all these techniques, but RT-PCR is much more reliable than serological tests. It is also cheaper, but not much reliable. The third technique is imaging, but that is just CT scan, but it has not become very popular and is really has not been put to use. आप सभी को आजकल घर में बैठे हुए खांसी भी आ जाए तो डर लगता है. And when I started from Delhi on 10th of this, I will tell you later that you don't really need to go by the information that keep on getting in media. टेलीविजन पे जो आपको नजर आता है और अखबारों में जो पढ़ा जा, we were also much scared, I think. कई बार तो ऐसे लगता है कि बिना कोविड-19 के होने के ही डर के मारे ही हो जाएगा. So that is a very serious problem because of the information that is pouring through media and also in the television. So we were much worried when we started on 10th of July from Delhi. हमें बताया कि पंजाब में यहाँ पकड़ लेंगे, पंजाब से आगे जाओगे तो हिमाचल में पकड़ लेंगे, and you will be somewhere kept in the institution you have to undergo. But nobody really troubled us when we crossed the Punjab border. And when you came to Mahatpur, crossed the Himachal border, they saw our scanned our pass and they allowed us to go. And when we reached our home, actually, there was a nodal person in the village. She came here and guided us that you have to stay here. It's a home quarantine. And then after some time, the health workers, they came to our house and took samples. तो थोड़ा सा मैं इसलिए बताना है, देखो मैं बैठा हूँ, मैं सैंपल मेरे से लिया जा रहा है, बट थोड़ा सैंपल लेते वक्त when this pipe gets into your nasal cavity, तो थोड़ा सा बड़ी घबराहट सी होती है, खांसी भी आ जाती है उस वक्त. And but then it is all not that horrible. And after 2 days time, we got the report that you are COVID negative. बहुत सारे लोगों को और मुझे शायद पहले हो भी चुका होगा, because बहुत सारा टाइम पहले मुझे खांसी जुकाम हुआ. So I will tell you, come to this particular point later, that you don't really need to worry that much, and your worry is leading to depressions when you are in the under lockdown. Now, in pursuit of drugs and vaccine, you keep on reading in the newspapers. There are reports that hydroxychloroquine along with azithromycin was proved to be effective against many patients. It was tried in France, in Wuhan. Then there is also remdesivir. It was tried in France, in Europe. But there is no data available. There is no drug as such. And there are many institutes, industries, scientists, almost more than 100, working on developing a vaccine against SARS-CoV-2. And as of today, it has not been made available. It is difficult, as I mentioned, because of the unique feature of this SARS-CoV-2. But India is also playing a very major role. Why India is playing a major role, I will come to this point in my next slide. But one of the vaccine which has been projected to be made available immediately, or say next month or next to next month, is being developed by Bharat Biotech India, BBIL, and also National Institute of Virology. NIV provided the asymptomatic COVID-19 patient and a virus. This dead virus is being tried by Bharat Biotech India Limited in order to develop into a vaccine, and clinical trials and everything is going on. But what was very unique, that it was announced that this particular vaccine will be in the market on August 15. Probably that will be very difficult. But apart from this, you all know it, that India is a growing hub for vaccines as well as for antibiotics. More than 80% of the antibiotics are made in India. And more than 60%, nearly 70% of the, even wherever vaccine is developed, finally it will come to India. India has the expertise. India has pharma industry already ready to scale up, and production probably will happen in India. So the other aspect which I want to touch upon is why this lockdown and containment and quarantine. आप सारे ये सोचते हैं हो क्या गया? Not those who are microbiologists, but those who are not microbiologists. उनको किसी को ये पता नहीं था कि microbiology और viruses ये क्या हैं. So they actually, but yes, it was a timely lockdown, and Government of India rightly actually did it on 24th March. And if had this not happened, then probably the number of COVID positive would have been many more as it is of today. So that is what is projected. But let me tell you, there is a very small virus wreaking havoc, but then there is no treatment, only prevention. Your innate immunity will make you to tolerate this virus. Maintain hygiene, social distancing, wear mask, all that is now you know it. Do not believe on WhatsApp messages. There is no drug or vaccine that is available. Eat less, be healthy, do exercises, plan your day. Do not sit before and do not believe 100% what is being projected in the TV and in the media reports. Can India sustain the spread of this COVID-19? Probably a lot more had been written in the newspapers. कि भाई टेम्परेचर बढ़ जाएगा तो ये मर जाएगा. Nothing has happened. Then ये भी था कि भाई Indians have got more immunity. I don't think it is really so. Then the environments, the humidity will probably kill these viruses. That has also not happened. So, but yes, if you have read today, probably something which is very encouraging, that the death rate or in percent is 2.5%. That would mean more than 97% people will eventually get recovered from this particular disease. And as you all know, those who are really suffering, they are also suffering, most of them, or many, although there is, so, but in India, you have more of young population, you have more immunity. So perhaps that is one of the factors that will protect you, and finally you will be boldly facing this particular SARS-CoV-2. But you microbiologists, you all need to actually educate our society, to tell them the role of microbes. Probably this is one discipline that has been neglected. We never actually informed. Microbiology was considered to be, when I used to do microbiology in zoology department, I was considered as a something outsider, outlier. ये क्यों zoology में कर रहा है? But nobody really realized at that time. This is only now that this particular discipline has become so important. Everybody realized that microbiology is very important, and this is many times I have mentioned, because of the coming up of DNA sequencing technologies and revolution in computational biology. You all microbiologists today, you know that 30% of the microbial biomass on this particular planet, living biomass, is constituted by microbes. The total actually number of microbes, archaea and bacteria, and also including viruses, is something around 0.9 to 3.2 into 10 to the power 30. And these bacteria, in fact, it is 10 to the power 30. And these bacteria, viruses and archaea, they are also, you just see the number of viruses, 1 into 10 to the power 31, that is present on this particular planet. So can you do microbiology without biology without understanding the role of microorganisms? Or can you live in this particular universe without understanding the microbes that are around us? When I'm speaking to you, there are around 3 million of microbes around me. And the role they play, I will come to in my next slide. So this I already mentioned. This we came to know because of the revolution in sequencing technology and computational biology. Earlier, it was not known to us because the techniques were very traditional and we were not able to detect all the organisms. I'll not get into this particular topic, but let you know that the newer techniques, computational techniques, and we have used those techniques in order to analyze the genomes of SARS-CoV-2, and a couple of slides I had already shown to you. So sequencing technologies and computational tools impacted this biological sciences very happily, and the major impact is on microbiological sciences. Earlier, we used to look into single microorganisms under microscope, analyze it, but now we are looking into the community of microorganisms, not only microorganisms, their genes and genomes and what they are exactly doing in a particular niche. And that is what we call it as microbiome. And large number of microbiome projects are already going on. One of them, which is being hotly debated and lot more information has come up is the Human Microbiome Project. No, this microbiome or microbiology has now become, everybody has realized, it has become so important that even we have on 27th June every year, we celebrate World's Microbiome Day. So it's very closer to 27th. Thank you, Prince and Kusum, inviting me to this particular workshop. I'm doing my job actually because the purpose of these type of webinar is to propagate microbiology among those who are not really microbiologists, but they are coming from society, children, and everybody. So that is the purpose, and I'm very sure you all, my colleagues, are doing a wonderful job by propagating microbiology through MICU. So just to let you know, the human microbiome will not get into detail, but touch upon it that our cells are 30 trillion, and the number of microbes that get into it is 39 trillion. Our own genes are 30,000, but with the microbes coming in, the number of genes becomes 3 million. And we have almost 1.5 kg microbial load. My gut contains maximum number of microbes, something around 10 to the power 13 human cells. And you see in this particular slide, 10 to the power 14 microbial cells, and bacteriophages 10 to the power 12. So my gut itself decides actually whether I need to be healthy or not. And most of these bacteria, they take up 90% of the functions, and these bacteria and viruses in my gut, they perform many of the functions which my body cannot. I'll not get into details, but just to give you an idea, and all these microbiologists who are listening to my lecture, I want to request them, and I want to make them my ambassadors, that they go back home and tell their parents and also tell the society and children that microbiology as of today is really very important. Any deviation from the normal behavior or normal population of microorganisms in my gut lead to all these diseases. I listed only 13. It is maybe obesity or leanness, heart disease, diabetes, liver disease, depression, blood pressure, and you see the lockdown and this pandemic. So it's a very, it is basically because of the deviation or dysbiosis, which we call it. So in conclusion, we cannot do biology without understanding the role of microorganisms. Even our society and children also need to be trained about, or need to be told what are these microorganisms. Not only this, so this we have taken up this, and we had been going to the schools. The place I'm here now, it's my village and my school, who have come here almost 4 to 5 times. We carried factory plates, we showed them bacteria. They were very excited. So the time now has come. We have neglected bacteria. I mentioned 30% of the living biomass is constituted by microbes. और अब तक हम क्या सोचते थे कि ये प्लांट्स और एनिमल ही पूरा जिंदा हैं इस प्लेनेट पे, बाकी सब कुछ माइक्रोब तो बहुत छोटे होते हैं. तो हम बच्चों को भी यही पढ़ाते थे, ए फॉर एप्पल, ई फॉर एलिफेंट, सी फॉर कैट. हमने कभी ये नहीं पढ़ाया कि ए फॉर आर्थ्रोबैक्टर, बी फॉर बैसिलस, ई फॉर इकोलाई, वी फॉर वायरसेस, सी फॉर कोरोना. So time has come when we need to educate our children in order to let them know right from the beginning the role of importance of microorganisms that constitute 30% of the living biomass on this particular planet. We have written an editorial. The urgent need for microbiology literacy in society, some 40 scientists from different countries. We are also a part of it. And if you want to really see, it's a very nicely written article. You want to see the importance of microbiology and why do we really, I will come to this point, why do we really, even those who are not microbiologists, they need to understand microbiology, what benefits you can drive out of it. I will come to this particular point later, but we have also translated this into Hindi, Punjabi, and also doing it in Bangla and different languages. I was looking for somebody who could really do a better translation, and will request Prince or Kusum, someone who can do actually a better translation in Punjabi. And we are also together writing books for school children actually to make them easier to understand the microbiology. A new editorial that we have written, where again we have some party scientists visualizing the invisible class excursion to ignite the young children and to let them know right from the beginning the importance of microorganisms. So that's what actually my school, some 5 kilometers from here, where I'm sitting actually, and we had been very frequently going and igniting young minds and young students. Not only that we need to tell this, give this message to the society, I will request my colleagues in the microbiology department to carry this message even to the administration, even to the government. Now the government needs to build in the role of microorganisms, the importance of microorganisms, keep budget for this in order to make the country to progress further. Now, these organisms, as I mentioned, they are not only harmful, but they are also very beneficial. We need to understand it. But the other point which I wanted to touch upon was what do you do during lockdown? How do we balance our personal and professional life? सब कुछ एकदम ही बंद हो गया, सारा यूनिवर्सिटी में जाना, डिपार्टमेंट जाना, इन दिनों सारे घर में बैठे हुए हैं और अब परेशान होने लगे पड़े. पहले तो सोचा था कि बहुत मजा आ रहा है, बट अब मजा नहीं आ रहा है. You all are, many of them are getting under depression. So how do you balance your professional and personal life? Let me tell you very clearly, in not India, globally, the coronavirus lockdown completely will not be lifted. Probably there are directions from UGC now that your session will start sometime in November. We also are not very clear whether it will really start in November or not. We have to live with it. Even in China, where I said the first case was reported in December 1, the situation is not good. It is still being, sometimes you keep on hearing, although very less information comes out from China, but I have my colleagues over there keep on telling that situation is not really good. The university and colleges have not really opened up. So what we did and what, I don't want to tell what you should do. Internet से मैं कुछ स्लाइडें लेके नहीं बताना चाहता हूँ. मैं क्या किया है इन दिनों मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ. आप अपनी मर्जी से जो भी करना है आप भी कर सकते हो. In order to keep a balance and use actually this time in the benefit of society and for your benefit in order to keep a very good personal and professional work. So what I did, project number 1, I sat together with my colleagues who were earlier my students, some 15 of them. And I said, let's do in silico work, because they knew and we knew we had done some work on genomics. So the first thing which we did, first project which we took up, I mentioned actually, we did the comparative genomics of SARS-CoV-2. And the paper that got published on 14th of July, I have already mentioned. It's a very important paper for us. And it's a very important and good information actually to let everybody know that this virus is mutating at a very fast rate. The second one, based on the comments and feedback we got, we have also analyzed now multi-omics and integrated network approach in order to resolve a couple of issues that are associated with SARS-CoV-2. So that also we have submitted to M-System. Then we had a number of leads that we are continuing, and also we have written 5 chapters to Burgess Manual. We are doing taxonomy, revisiting all those based on genomic sequences. We are writing books for children and also for the society. The second project is when you are at home, sit with the family. We are sitting actually with the extended family, with my wife. शाम को 1-2 घंटे हम कैरम खेलते हैं. आप भी कुछ ना कुछ, कई बार अभी भी मैं घर में यहाँ पर वॉलीबॉल खेलता हूँ. तो आपको सुबह ही अपना सारा प्रोग्राम कर लेना है. The third project which I took and many times I spoke about it, my weight in the year 2012, it was something around more than 90 kg. Then I read a paper actually that was published in Science that your obesity is as a result of your microbiome actually changes in the microbial community in the gut. And that time I decided it is not because of I'm obese because of not only because of I'm eating so much, but it is because of my microbes are making me eat so much. So that's why I decided to fool my microbes, started changing my lifestyle and food habits. So as a result of that, in 5 years' time, I reduced my weight from 97 to 77. And when first lockdown started on March 24th, my weight was 78 kg. And then I decided to reduce my weight. लोग आजकल बहुत अच्छा बना रहे हैं और खा रहे हैं और वजन बढ़ा रहे हैं और उसकी वजह से बीमारियां बढ़ रही हैं. मैंने ये फैसला किया कि मैं और वजन, I know my weight should be something around 65, 66. And yesterday when I took my weight, it was something around 65.8 kg. So reduced by 12 kg again in a span of some 3 months almost. But to do that, you need a willpower. You need to, on this elliptical machine, I do this exercise for almost walk on this particular machine for 30 kilometers, 2.5 hours, and at a speed of something 4 kilometers per hour. Then I daily walk for 21,000 steps. I don't eat in the morning. I take fruits for lunch. I only take one or बहुत दिन हो गए चपाती और चावल खाए मेरा मन ही नहीं करता है अब खाने को. I eat things which are completely different and fooled by microbes and I'm not so active. My weight is around 6. अब मैं कोई दवाई भी नहीं लेता. तो ये माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म को समझने से आप क्या क्या कर सकते हो. आप अपने जो मेरे जो those who are listening to my lecture can go back and tell your parents actually. बहुत सारे लोग जो मेरी उम्र में रिटायर हो जाते हैं वो सोचते हैं मुफ्त की दवाइयां खा खा के जिंदगी बताएंगे. That is, they need to understand the role of microorganisms in order to lead a very healthy life. Then the fourth project which we want to take up and we have taken up, opportunity to ignite young minds, conducting workshops on computational biology from 29th June to July 19th until tomorrow. We are conducting a workshop, igniting students actually, letting them know how they can really do computational biology by sitting at home. This we did with our startup where 4 or 5 of us, Fixed Gene Private Limited. Then we also finished one workshop yesterday at SB College, Sri Venkateswara College, the constituent college of Delhi University. Then from our startup by itself, we are conducting several such workshops of different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. You see the response of students from Mathri College, more than 200 students. Then in Venkateswara College, it went to 250 students who attended this workshop, 4 days workshop. And they were so excited, they were so interactive. And the workshop, which through our startup that we are conducting in order to ignite young minds. Not only that, my colleagues actually, अभी तक तो मैं ही लेक्चर देता रहता था, अब मैंने उनको आगे ले आया हूँ. Now they are actually becoming trainers and experts. They speak very well. They actually let the students and train the participants know how to do computational biology. But most of the biologists or microbiologists, probably they feel it's a very difficult discipline. As I mentioned, without knowing computational biology, without knowing microorganisms, the role of microorganisms, their association with everything, you cannot do good biology. So get into this discipline and enjoy actually and plan your life. So that's what actually the next 4th or 5th project is. Just sit in the morning, plan your day, sit in the morning as if you are sitting in a class or in it. So that's what I do. And let me tell you again, be safe, stay at home, follow all regulations. But again, I'm repeating, it will be your innate immunity that will keep you healthy. There is no medicine, there is no vaccine. ये मत कहने लगो हल्दी खाने लग पड़ो और लहसुन खाने लग पड़ो कि भाई उससे एकदम आप ठीक हो जाओगे. 2 किलो हल्दी रोज की खा लो, आप और बीमार हो जाओगे. Do not believe on WhatsApp messages, whatever is being circulated on daily basis. There is no drug, there is no vaccine. Eat less, be healthy. मैंने अपनी एग्जांपल देके आपको बता दिया है. Do exercises, plan your day. Do not sit on TV and rely 100% on media reports and integrate digital technology. In fact, Prince, Naveen, Soni, and Kusam madam, they are doing wonderful job by conducting this webinar, by integrating digital technology into your life. In fact, instructions are likely to come up from Government of India that 40 to 60% of the teaching now will be online. So, and the other thing is that I want all of you who are listening to me to become my ambassador. Go back home, tell your parents the importance of microbiology, and also tell society, the poor fellows, the rickshaw pullers, or those who are daily laborers, उनको समझ नहीं आ रहा है हो क्या गया, ये वायरस होता क्या है. So you are my ambassadors from today onwards in order to convey this message and propagate microbiology among masses in society and also among children. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's a great talk. So I hope everybody enjoyed Professor Prince, Professor Kusam. So it was multi-dimensional. You told about the virus also. You told about the lifestyle also. You told about how we can popularize microbiology also. Sir, there are a number of questions. I will like to take a couple of them with you. A staffy from our department is asking, why are the patients with diabetes and hypertension at increased risk of COVID-19?
तो आई थिंक एवरीबॉडी नोज इट, इससे जो इम्यूनिटी है ना कम हो जाता है व्हेन यू आर सफरिंग फ्रॉम लार्ज नंबर ऑफ डिजीज। ऐसे होता है ये कि भाई जो ऐसे ही कोई गरीब आदमी चोर सा पकड़ लिया और सड़क पे 4 आदमी पीट रहे हैं तो दूसरा भी जाता जाता सोचता है एक मैं भी थप्पड़ लगा लेता हूँ। तो एक्चुअली दिस वायरस ऑल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ दी बेसिकली क्या है इम्यूनिटी की वजह से ही एक्चुअली इट्स इन there are many people who have strong immunity, they are already infected. In fact, Delhi में they analyzed 20,000 individuals, उनके antibodies है कि नहीं, and they found out 1 to 20. उनमें से 20 में से एक ही रिपोर्ट हुआ है, बाकी तो ऑलरेडी they got infected, they got recovered, कोई किसी को उनका पता ही नहीं है। तो ये जो अंदर की इम्यूनिटी है ना, that's making it so all these diseases actually they make you less immune. But there are many more reports on. Yeah.
So another student, Sahil Rana, she wished to ask that, does it make sense if I say asymptomatic person is unlikely to die as he is not having any symptoms? Is this statement right, sir? She is asking.
ये statement is right. Asymptomatic को बहुत सारों को कुछ को है, कहीं मैं भी शुरू में मुझे भी 10-15 दिन खांसी रहा था, थोड़ा थोड़ा खांसी रहा, मैं ठीक हो गया। पड़ोसियों ने फोन कर दिया था पुलिस में, लेकिन मैं ठीक हो गया था, मतलब मुझे लगता है मुझे हो चुका है। तो डोंट वरी, एक्चुअली 97% ऑफ देम यू विल रिकवर। आप ये टीवी पे ज्यादा मत देखो जो यही दिखा रहे हैं, ये तो नहीं दिखा रहे हैं कि आउट ऑफ 1 करोड़ 40 लाख 82 और 85 लाख तो रिकवर हो गए वर्ल्ड ओवर। वो टीवी वाले नहीं दिखाते, उनको मजा नहीं आता। ऑल्दो द सिचुएशन इज सीरियस, बट दैट डजंट मीन इट इज सो सीरियस कि भाई टेलीविजन देख के ही आपको सुबह शाम यही रहता है, रात को नींद नहीं आएगी, इम्यूनिटी कम हो जाएगी, वायरस आपके घर आ जाएगा। तो डोंट रिलाई ऑन दीस, इट्स बेसिकली द इम्यूनिटी।
Sir, what, in your opinion, what are the chances of a second wave in India?
सारा कुछ सेकंड वेव, आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एनी चांस ऑफ सेकंड वेव। अभी हमें भी ये भी नहीं पता कि फर्स्ट वेव खत्म हुआ है कि नहीं, बिकॉज टेस्टिंग बहुत कम हो रहा है। द स्लाइड आई शो नंबर ऑफ, हमारे यहाँ टेस्टिंग उन्हीं का है, जैसे मैं दिल्ली से आ गया तो मेरा टेस्ट हो गया, बाकी आस पास में किसी का नहीं हुआ है। सो टेस्टिंग अगर करेंगे लोगों का, दिल्ली में अगर किया है 20-30,000 का, उसमें से दे फाउंड आउट जो आउट ऑफ 2019 जो है वो डिटेक्ट ही नहीं हुए थे, उनको होके वो आराम ही हो गया। दे ऑलरेडी हैव एंटीबॉडीज। तो वी डू नॉट नो एक्चुअली, बहुत मुश्किल है अभी टू टॉक एंड से फॉर श्योर कि सेकंड वेव आ जाएगा, ये होगा वो होगा। Things are very dicey, but there are a lot more information coming up on daily basis in literature. तो अभी बहुत मुश्किल सा है कि भाई हम क्या कब ये खत्म होगा। But I think one thing which all of us can agree is we have to live with it.
No, sir. One real technical question where we will like to have your views is, with the evolving and mutating virus, what are the perspectives of immunity and success of vaccines in your opinion?
वही हम कह रहे हैं कि डॉक्टर साहब, जो कोई कंपनी गवर्नमेंट पैसे डाल रही है वैक्सीन डेवलप करने के लिए, यू नो इट बेटर, कोई भी कंपनी बहुत सारा इसमें इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना चाहता फॉर द सिंपल रीजन कि भाई हो सकता है 6 महीने बाद ये बीमारी खत्म हो जाए तो वैक्सीन कहाँ जाएगी, द इन्वेस्टमेंट क्या रिटर्न कहाँ आएंगे। सो एनी कंपनी if they want to put up a vaccine, it should be for years together. So and another problem is, if any vaccine developed today, it is not actually, there is no surety that that vaccine will work with the mutated viruses. So these are the problems. But yes, something will come up, we are very sure. But yes, these are the problems.
Another thing I personally need to ask, I was talking to somebody yesterday, he told me, वैक्सीन कोई भी कंट्री बनाए, प्रोडक्शन तो इंडिया में ही होगी। तो इंडिया में माइक्रोबायोलॉजी वो बड़ा बढ़ने वाला है।
फार्मा इंडस्ट्री जो है, मैंने बताया ना एक स्लाइड में, 60 to 70% वैक्सीन और 80% एंटीबायोटिक इंडिया में बनते हैं। आपके बद्दी में वो सारा नाला भर गया। So that is naturally, whosoever makes a vaccine, finally they have to outsource it to India to make it here. हमारा फार्मा इंडस्ट्री बहुत स्ट्रांग है, ऑलरेडी 60% वैक्सीन तो यहीं बना रहे हैं, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ऑलरेडी, तो अपस्केलिंग एकदम यहाँ पर इंडिया में ही हो सकता है. दूसरा ये चाइना में हो सकता था, तो चाइना से तो आजकल सारे ही बहुत उसमें हैं, तो and if it is if anytime it is developed, this particular upscaling and production on a mass scale will come to India.
Okay. So, sir, we see a good scope for microbiology and biotechnology in India. I can say that.
आप सारे बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. आप माइक्रोबायोलॉजी, वो जो लोग हमें कहते थे क्यों कर रहे हो, वो आप आई थिंक people troubled us कि भाई माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म तो कुछ रोल ही नहीं है. Now they have realized, so let's take it to the society in an aggressive mode, that yes, microbes are very important.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes,
sir. There are lots of questions.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir, you
anybody
are very
else?
right that microbiology, this issue has brought the microbiology to the limelight. You are very right.
Yeah. So,
Right.
any other question from anybody's side? So, sir, thank you very much. It was really good. There are lots of other queries, but some I missed because actually they are in the running comments. Some I quickly picked. So, and I will short you those queries to later on to you also and ask the answers from you. So, thank you very much, sir. Thank you once again for
Awesome. Thank you, Naveen
such
and
a
Sophie. It was pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Now I invite Professor Kusum Harjai, who is Chairperson Department of Microbiology, Punjab University, to thank everybody for such a good show. Professor Kusum Harjai, please.
Thank you, Dr. Naveen. After having listened to the wonderful and a very elaborative talk on such an interesting topic of SARS-CoV-2 by Professor Ruplal, it becomes my prime duty to first of all thank our worthy Vice Chancellor, under whose patronage this lecture series is being held. I am thankful to him for encouraging these academic activities in Punjab University and always providing his unending support, so as to keep students updated in this tiring time of lockdown. I am also grateful to Dean Research and respected Dean University Instructions for giving us permissions to organize such activities at bigger platforms. I duly acknowledge and thank our first speaker of today's webinar. From the core of my heart, I am really very, very thankful and honored and grateful, sir, for accepting our invitation despite of your previous commitments during this critical period of pandemic prevailing in the country. I also congratulate you for your very fine publication in an ASM journal, which you just now told us. I must admit that Department of Microbiology and its faculty share a very long association with one of the very senior, eminent and respected Professor Ruplal. He has always accepted our invitation even when given at a short notice. I'm sure the audience, especially the young faculty, research scholars, they must have gained a lot regarding the updates concerning various issues related to SARS-CoV-2, which is a real threat to the mankind these days. In addition, the interesting aspects of management of personal and professional life during lockdown situation covered by you will also help the young scientists to give them insight into the day-to-day situations, into handling the day-to-day situations. Once again, I'm extremely thankful to you, sir, for giving such an illustrative talk. My thanks are also due to our chief guest for today's webinar, Shri Devinder Dalai, Director UT, DST UT, for his support. Although he could not make it today, but because of his busy schedule, but his blessings are always with us. I give my due thanks to the faculty of Department of Microbiology, PU Chandigarh, for their support for smooth functioning of all these activities. The contributions and dedicated efforts of AMI Chandigarh unit under the presidency of Professor Prince Sharma and dynamic secretary Dr. Naveen Gupta is undeniable. They, along with other active members of AMI, form a very good cohesive team. With great pleasure, I take this opportunity to thank and also to congratulate them and their whole team for this event, for making this event a great success. The team is doing a wonderful job. Dr. Ruplal knows this. And now, in association with the Department of Microbiology, we further plan to uplift and enhance various scientific activities. I wish them good luck for their future endeavors as well. The success of academic activity also lies with the presence of august audience. And I'm sure today, many young faculty from different colleges, universities, research scholars, graduate and undergraduate students, they have joined in with full zest and zeal. I'm sure they will be acquiring a Pandora of knowledge from these deliberations in the series of lectures, which will also be available on Facebook page of AMI Chandigarh unit. So with this, I thank all, one and all, and wish good day to all of you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Bye. Dr. Naveen, not audible, Dr. Naveen. Your mic is off. You are not audible, Dr. Naveen.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I have switched it on. Before I close this today's program, I have to make some few announcements. I just, as I've written in comments, we are starting our Sunday lecture series also from tomorrow onwards. And the special feature of that series is that we will be giving opportunity to young faculty, students, and research scholars a platform to get used to these online seminars, webinars, and all that. So anybody who is interested to give a lecture into that can contact me at my WhatsApp number 904-106-2680. And I request all to join tomorrow in that series, the first lecture at 11 o'clock. So thank you to all of you. So thank you, Professor Kusum. We will meet tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.